Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I thought I would bring you a delicious chocolate Guinness cupcake just in time for St. Patrick's Day this weekend. So I hope you like chocolate cupcakes because buckle up, this is a bloody good recipe. Okay, so it's super easy. As always, all of our quantities for the ingredients are going to be in the description box below. We are needing a preheated oven to 175 degrees Celsius. All right, so first up, we're gonna make the dry ingredients. Well, we're gonna mix the dry ingredients. So we have some flour here that we're going to add some cocoa powder, as well as some baking soda, some salt, and some espresso powder. Now, the reason a lot of you may think like, oh, coffee, I don't want coffee in my chocolate cake. But honestly, it is the best thing for it. It makes the mixture really intense. It just intensifies the chocolate flavor, which is exactly what we want. So we're going to mix this up until everything is thoroughly mixed through. And then we're gonna set this aside and come back to it later. Okay, so now it is time to cream our butter and sugar. So I have some butter here that is fairly soft that I'm gonna add my caster sugar to. And then with a wooden spoon, I'm basically gonna just, all right, so I've pretty much nearly melted that. So we'll just mix that through with a wooden spoon. Ideally, we just want softened butter, not melted butter, but I think I've managed to pull it out just at the last minute. So we're just gonna mix this until basically our butter and our sugar is thoroughly creamed together. We want the consistency to be a lot lighter in color and a lot lighter and fluffier. You can absolutely do this with a mixer or a hand beater. Today I've just decided to use the traditional method of a wooden spoon. Okay, so when the butter and the sugar mixture is starting to look a lot lighter in color, a lot fluffier, if you like, it is time to add our eggs. So we've got 2 eggs that we're gonna add in. Like so. And then we will beat those in until they're thoroughly combined. All right, so now that that is pretty much combined, we can add our yogurt and our vanilla essence. So I've just got plain Greek yogurt here, not flavored in any way because we want it to be quite tart, but the yogurt is actually gonna act it's going to make these cupcakes lovely and moist. If you don't want to use yogurt, you can use sour cream. That's also another alternative. So we'll just make sure everything is in there. And then I've also put in the vanilla as well. And we're going to mix that until all of that is combined. And then essentially, we have nearly all of our ingredients mixed together. So we're gonna bring back our flour mixture as well as the beautiful magic ingredient to this recipe. Well, it's not really a magic ingredient because everyone knows by the title of this video that it's a chocolate and Guinness cupcake. So we're gonna add in our flour, then a little bit of Guinness, a little bit of flour, a little bit of Guinness. Cool? And then a little bit for me, just, you know, baker's courage, you know. Okay, so now that we have our Guinness, our dry mixture and our wet mixture, we basically can start incorporating. You can either do this with a wooden spoon or you can do this with a whisk. I have chosen to switch it up to a whisk just so that I can make sure everything is thoroughly combined. So we will add in half of our flour mixture and then we can give that a good old mix through. like so. Then we can add in half of our Guinness. Now don't be alarmed if this mixture starts to look a little curdly, that's totally fine. Once all of the flour is incorporated in, it won't look like this. All right, so that's all mixed through. Then we can add the remainder of our flour mixture. Like so. And the remainder of our Guinness. So always finish on wet. And then we'll mix that through. Now, also one thing worth mentioning is when I was creating and testing this recipe, I really wanted to make sure that you could still taste the Guinness, but not taste the Guinness. So for anyone that doesn't like Guinness or doesn't want to drink alcohol, how can you achieve that flavor? And it's basically the maltiness of the stout that we want to create. So if you don't want to add Guinness, add a little bit of malt powder, and that will sort of achieve the same sort of taste that these cupcakes have. All right, so all our mixture is lovely mixed in. We can bring in our baking tray. Now, because it's St. Paddy's Day, I wanted to make our cupcakes look as much like a Guinness pint as much as possible. So I have gone and got some little black baking cups for basically for this recipe, so that it looks as much like a pint of Guinness, which is exactly what we want. So pop those in there. And now we can fill up our lovely cupcake cases with our mixture. Now, we want to ideally use all of this mixture. This batter will make the whole 12 cupcakes. So, and they bake with quite a flat top as well. So try to fill them up at least 3/4 full. I'm using an ice cream scoop. You probably actually could use a jug because the mixture itself is quite runny. But obviously you do whatever you like to do. And don't be alarmed, the mixture still looks quite curdled. Don't worry, that is just because we've added the Guinness in. But they will come out lovely and moist, exactly how we want them. So don't worry, trust me. All right, so now that that mixture has all been used up and we've got roughly around 3/4 full on each cupcake, we can pop them into the oven. So we obviously have preheated our oven at 175 degrees Celsius, and we're gonna pop them in for roughly around 15 to 17 minutes until they are lovely, springy and bouncy on the top. So we'll see you in a bit. All right guys, so now that our cupcakes are cooling down, they are looking delicious as always, we can make our buttercream that's gonna go on the top. So I am using Swiss meringue buttercream, which I will put a little link to my previous video of that recipe for you. But to that Swiss meringue buttercream, I am actually gonna add some malt powder. So this is really gonna amplify the maltiness that you will get similar flavor from with the Guinness. So I have just got a tablespoon of malt powder here that I'm just gonna add in. Now, if you're looking for malt powder and you can't find it, it's normally Horlicks. There's many different brands out there in the supermarket, but Horlicks is sort of my go-to. So I'm actually using half a batch of the Swiss meringue buttercream recipe that I created in this video that I will tag you guys in. I'm using half a batch for my 12 cupcakes. So we're going to pop this on our stand mixer and give this a beat and whip this up. So I've had mine in the freezer. It's now come to room temperature, but I just want to beat it up to really whip it up and get it nice and fluffy again, which is exactly what we want. So we're just going to put it on a medium to high speed for roughly around 2 to 3 minutes. Alrighty, so now that that has pretty much come together really nicely, we're just going to scrape down the sides of the bowl and make sure everything is fully incorporated. And I'm just going to beat this up a little bit more just because I want to really get that nice and fluffy and nice and light and delicious, you know? So pop that back on, get rid of that, and then beat that up again for another 2 to 3 minutes. It's looking pretty good to me. It all looks lovely and mixed through, which is exactly what we want. So now I'm just going to clean my beater, and then we can pop it into a piping bag. Now I've fitted my piping bag with a round nozzle. You can obviously decorate these however you like, but I am going to try to basically mimic a Guinness pint. So the idea is that we have some sort of a white head to our brown cupcakes. So let's move over there. Oh. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my round nozzle and piping bag to create almost a blob on top of my cupcakes, and then I'm actually going to try a new technique where I'm going to flip them upside down and create a flat top. So I'm going to show you how I do that. But what you really want to do with your Swiss meringue buttercream is you just really want to sort of like fluff it up a bit more. You obviously beat in a lot of air into it by whipping it back up, but we would just want to get rid of all those air bubbles so that it's a really smooth buttercream. And that's sort of what you're looking for. So lovely and smooth. And it smells super malty, which is exactly what we want. All right, so now we can pop it into our piping bag. All right, pop that to the side. All right, so I've got my cooled cupcakes here. And as you can see, they're looking lovely and delicious. What you will notice is some of them, well, for mine in particular, some of them did overflow. So I would actually recommend filling just above 2/3 full. Some of them baked really, really nicely and then almost came out and sunk, which I think is totally normal. But you don't want the overflow, which is what I had, and then had to sort of peel them off. So my advice would be to fill them 2/3 full, or just above 2/3 full. All right, so we're going to pipe on them now. So again, as I said, I'm going to try a flat top to mimic a Guinness pint glass. So I'm just going to pipe a nice wee blob in the center there. Okay, so as I was explaining, I wanted to achieve that flat top. So what I have is a metal sheet pan here with some baking paper. And all I'm going to do is essentially just turn the cupcake upside down and squish it. So I'm just going to simply turn it upside down and give it a light amount of pressure until the edge of the icing sort of hits the edge of the cupcake there. And then leave it. So we're just going to do that for all of our cupcakes. And that will allow us to achieve that lovely flat head. All right, so we'll pop those into the fridge for roughly around 20 to half an hour, 20 minutes to half an hour. So we shall see you in a bit. All right, guys, welcome back. Our cupcakes have come out of the fridge and they are looking pretty good and I'm pretty excited to try one. So what I would recommend is now that they've been in the fridge, the icing is nice and hard, which is exactly what we want. We're going to slowly peel the greaseproof paper off the top of the cupcake. And look at that, perfect. A nice, good head for a Guinness comparison. So we're just going to do that for all of our cupcakes. Be really gentle and really slow and keep the greaseproof paper nice and taut so that it really comes off nicely from the icing. It's nice and flat on top, which is exactly what you've want. And because we whipped all of that air out at the very end of our buttercream, it's lovely and smooth on the top. All right, so I think it's time to taste. And I'm very, very excited about these because these cupcakes, when they came out, they were so squishy, so moist. And that will be because of the Guinness and also the yogurt. All right, cheers. Yum. You have that lovely, fluffy, squishy sponge, the really like malty and creamy Swiss meringue icing on the top. Honestly, this is such a good cupcake. And surprisingly, it doesn't really taste like Guinness. Like, yes, we put it in the recipe, but it almost, all the alcohol burns off and you almost end up with more of like a malty flavored cupcake. Honestly, it's so, so yummy. I am so excited to share these with my partner, Callum. He's gonna love these. So anyway, guys, happy St. Paddy's Day. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Please feel free to take photos of your bakes, tag me at Love Lauren on Instagram, and I will be sure to check them out. And we shall see you in our next video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Have a lovely week, guys. Bye.